not equal. We're completely different. We have strengths about us and we have weaknesses about us. You guys have strengths about you and you have weaknesses about you. Again, this isn't a competition. If we were both the same, we wouldn't need.
Then why has it been made a competition? Because it is. You can keep saying it's not a competition, but it is. We are all going after the same resources.
Each other. We are built to balance one another. You know, in times where a woman is soft and feminine, she is balanced out by a man who is masculine. If a woman wants to be masculine and then she wants to date or be with the man who is masculine, then you've got two of the same energies and it's not really going to fit. What's going to happen is it's going to actually become a competition, or it's going to be something where one person feels less than the other and then it all just starts to disintegrate. So if we can get the mindset around the fact that it is okay to be different to men.
All right, get the mindset behind it. You said if we can get the mindset. So lead the way. Lead the way.
And then it is okay to be different to women. This isn't about meeting eye to eye necessarily or being exactly the same. This is about understanding that the way that we're created as females and as males is to complement each other. And it's going to be hard to complement each other if we are punishing the other person for their view or their differences.
This language, punish, like I said, law-abiding citizen, don't commit atrocities. How is that punishing anyone? I'm just a bachelor, end of the day.
Now, I obviously will never ever excuse behavior that is toxic in the way of, you know, men abusing women or women abusing men. I don't believe.
Yeah, of course. Who's gonna condone that kind of stuff? But we have to have these straw mans. It's never just an honest, sort of nuanced conversation. It's always toxic, extreme.
In that at all. I'm talking about we're built to balance each other, because if we know how to build functional, healthy relationships, because we're coming from a place of wholeness, that is when we'll actually start thriving in love. But what I think MGTOW is doing is it's having this protective mindset over men, because it's almost like you guys are wounded. And
no, it's just we don't want to see people taking the rope. I think we're just looking out for our fellow brother, because we've seen a lot of bodies on the battlefield.
And for any of my followers who are, you know, part of the MGTOW movement, I understand you and I see you.
No, you don't. You don't understand us. That's the problem. Solipsism will not allow you to understand us. But like I said before, it is a lifestyle. It's not a movement, nothing that you can co-opt. And that's what makes it scary, because if it was, they could just infiltrate it, pay off people, and, you know, spout the propaganda again.
I may not have lived your pain, and maybe I don't know your full story, but I know that you most likely would not have this reaction to women if you yourself haven't been wounded by a woman.
No, I didn't need it. I'm a straight up bachelor through and through. No marriage, no children, never cohabitated. So I didn't need to go through the ringer.
We are broken people dating broken people, unfortunately. But our brokenness shouldn't be a reason why we then involve ourselves in toxic behavior, toxic movements, or toxic decisions.
Oh, that was 3 in a row. Toxic, blah, blah. It's lies.
Which then actually keep us wounded. We may have been wounded by others, but I believe it is also our responsibility to actually start healing ourselves. And for women who have been wounded by men, hence maybe you've become really an extreme feminist, or maybe you've become coming from this place of self-entitlement, that again is an indication of your wounds.
I don't even know the difference nowadays between a quote unquote extreme feminist and a normal feminist, in all honesty. But they use extreme like candy, so who even knows what that word means?
Where for men, an indication of their wounds is to basically close off from women, or just be against the principle of marriage, or again, go into MGTOW. Either way, we've got two parties that have been wounded, and they assume that if I wound the other party even more,
What's all this wounding stuff? Who's wounding who here? I am law-abiding citizen, all right? That's what I'm doing. Pay my taxes, the lot.
then that justifies my wounds. But shooting someone else when you've been shot yourself isn't going to heal the main core problem here. And so we have to understand.
But the thing is, let's be honest, no one wants to talk about the main core problem. They want to bring in bachelors, all these people that have left, that have seen the landscape and said, this is not very well set up. This is a chessboard that is not set up properly. There's pieces in the wrong place, and this side has extra pieces. Why have they got 4 rooks and 2 queens?
How to work from a place where we can heal within ourselves, not label the other party as all in the same bucket. They're all trying to hurt me.
Yeah. Back to the majority fallacy, right? They always have to go to the majority fallacy. But that's me actually using it, saying they always have to go. But honestly, that's the argument you hear is not all, not every. That's the argument. There's no look at minority, majority. Because if they looked at that, they'd realize what a bigger part of the problem is.
They're all commitment phobes, or they're all trying to take my money, or they all want to just marry us for our money, or whatever. And be educated and understand how to regulate our emotions so that we can start to heal. Because if we just keep going through life going, well, you did this to me, so therefore I'm going to do this to you. Holy moly, you are going to have a life that is full of anger, full of bitterness. You won't have peace. You won't have progress. You may convince yourself that you do, but the truth is you won't, because you'll keep coming back to this battle and this battle again and again and again. And even if you have been wounded by women in the past, or women, if you've been wounded by men.
She's basically admitting that women wound men, right? When they keep bringing this up, like, why are you so bitter? That is actually an indication of they know that women are out playing men like a fiddle.
In the past, it doesn't mean that that has to be your present circumstance or your future. This is about you understanding that we don't have to be controlled by our past, and having an extreme reaction by joining something that is toxic or encouraging toxic mindset.
It's killing me to hear extreme and toxic and movement. It's killing me to keep hearing these words over and over again.
And beliefs is not going to heal you from the pain that you've been experiencing. Are you liking this, guys? Let me know if you're liking this. I think it's probably.
Yeah, well, I'll let you know. Actually, you guys tell me. Do you guys like this? Comment below, as always. Thanks for the engagement. Thanks for the shares and likes, and we'll see you on the next one.
Okay, the first thing that I will say is this. It is not a competition.
It is, unfortunately. It is a competition. We doubled the workforce and half the wages, but let's add the fact that it's globalization now. So we've added in working visas and other forms of immigration. And now you've got a fourth aspect coming into play, which is automation. So now certain jobs are going to phase out, meaning less potential overall jobs. I mean, we'll see how that all shakes out.
What I've found is that over time, gender roles have changed. And I 100% agree with you guys out there, like you men, that things aren't the way that they used to be. You know, we don't have the traditional roles as what we used to.
Men are still expected to do the traditional roles, and that is the problem, because you want to have your cake and eat it too. You want all the modern stuff, and yet you expect the traditional protector provider role.
Now becoming more empowered. We've had the rise of feminism, voting. Women are becoming more confident with initiating dating. Women are getting positions that were traditionally given to men. So what I've found is that it's impacted dating and relationships greatly, because there has actually been a shift in identity.
It's always going to affect dating, because male doctors potentially date baristas, but it can't be said the other way around. They want to date other doctors. They want to date surgeons. So that creates a problem if you're going to artificially empower a certain group.
Fortunately, from my perspective, in some cases, when women have become empowered, it has actually disempowered men to a certain degree. Now, I believe that whilst there can be toxic masculinity, I do believe that exists, I also believe that there can be toxic femininity. Okay? I believe that because we've got toxic extremes of, women going, well, this is what we want and this is what we're entitled to, and
Exactly. You're the one saying what you're entitled to, and I'm just saying I'm out. I'm not playing the game. So which one's toxic? The one asking for stuff and being super entitled, or the one that says, I'm going to go play a different sport. I'm going to go do a different hobby.
Men should do this and men should do that. It's moved away from a sense of being empowered to a sense of being self-entitled. And that to me is toxic. If women have gone from empowering one another and stepping into what we rightly deserve, which is, equal pay and, fair choice and things like that, but then turned it into something toxic by coming from a place of ego and a place of self-entitlement, yes, that is toxic femininity. However, I don't believe that gives anyone a right, or the opposite gender a right, to then step into toxic masculinity. Now, if you've got two extremes,
what are these, buzzwords, right? These are just straight up buzzwords with very vague, ever-changing definitions. So you can't pinpoint a specific definition. And you always have to wonder who's even giving the definition out.
If you have one extreme and then you have an extreme reaction, either way there's going to be some sort of imbalance because you've got extremes, right? And it's not really going to work. So what we've done is women have gone, unfortunately, into this self-entitlement sort of high maintenance attitude, especially when it comes to dating. I know the struggles that you guys go through. However,
You don't. Unless you're dating other chicks, you don't know the struggles. Straight up. So if you're dating men, you do not know the troubles of dating women.
I don't think that the answer is to step into another extreme movement that actually can...
It's not a movement. Stop saying extreme every second word. But it's just saying, I'm not doing that. What's a different offer? It's saying, I don't like that offer. You need to change the offer.
Continues to divide the sexes. I think that we've got enough battles going on individually within ourselves and within our genders without us creating more battles by believing that if I can give an extreme reaction to something that they're doing wrong, then this is going to solve the problem.
How is walking away and being a law-abiding citizen extreme? You tell me. I've never once advocated for any kind of law breaking, but we just keep hearing these buzzwords, extreme, extreme, extreme.
And what I find more than often is that men who have been hurt by women, men who've been hurt by maybe having...
There's a famous quote from Tom Likas. If you've got a phallus, you've been hurt by a woman. That's just what us men all have in common.
Everything taken away from them when their marriage falls apart, men who have been hurt by feminism or toxic feminism, rather, are men who then become bitter. And those are the men in my...
Or smart, or just decide that the lemon isn't worth the squeeze and find other more fulfilling things to do.
Experience who then are starting to back the MGTOW movement. And as I said, two wrong...
It's a lifestyle. It's a lifestyle, and each individual chooses what rules they're going to break, what rules they're not going to break. So there's even flexibility a little bit. There's certain things that there's no flexibility. No cohabitation. That's the main one for me.
Wrongs don't make a right here. It really doesn't. It's not solving the problem. All it's doing is creating more
You can solve it. I don't want to solve the problem. It's not my problem anymore. It's your problem to solve.
disunity, which is almost like putting fuel on the fire, which then makes the women want to react this way, and then it makes the men want to react this way. And then what we tend to do is we tend to box people. We tend to go, well, all women are, blood.
Majority. I'm done with this all, and it's just the super straw man argument. It's majority, and that's the problem. Whether the majority is 51% or 89%, it's the majority.
Suckers. And then all women go, well, all men are men. Women go, oh, all men don't want to commit. And it's ridiculous because we can't go and label everyone off the minority who have actually done something wrong. So
That's assuming that it's a minority. See, you're assuming it's a minority. I'm assuming it's a majority as well. So I don't know. Go do some online dating as a guy and tell me how it comes out.
that's my first point. It is not a competition. The second point that I want to say is we are built to balance. We're not built to be the same. So what I mean by that is one of the things that frustrates me is everyone's like, well, men and women are equal.
We're different. We are different at the end of the day. Anyway, guys, we're going to make this into a 2 or 3 parter. As always, thoughts, comments below, and we'll see you on the next one.